Welcome to another episode of InFinite AM. We have your regular host here,
Jose A. Romo.
and how do you say it? He's a continuous guest, I guess?
Yeah.
Keep showing yourself.
Frankie G.
We don't want him, but he keeps coming back. So.
Fuck, man.
Puppy.
It's like you feed him once, and then they're like coming back expecting, the same thing.
You guys gave me food, man.
Coffee.
That'll stop
Oh,
today.
yeah, shit, coffee.
Anyways, today's gonna be a different episode. We don't have a special guest, so we decided to.
It's fucked up.
I mean, you're kind of special. You're okay.
A little bit. I can barely talk, so.
I mean, that's pretty much everybody. But anyways, you guys are really into fitness,
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do a fitness episode today. Mm-hmm. Now, with that word, that kind of
It's a loaded word.
Yeah, it gives different people different perspectives on things. So that's what I want to start with. Like for you, Romo, what is the idea of fitness, and how do you define it?
Fitness is it's a lifelong thing. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. People perhaps rush into fitness. A lot of people do the New Year's resolution. They'll go hard for a month and then bounce out. So for me, it's just a lifelong discovery of what it means. So.
Because I feel like for most people, fitness is like what they see on a magazine. Like they see that buff dude or that buff chick, and they're like, "That's fitness." It's almost as a goal, maybe achievable, maybe unachievable, but it's a goal that you got to reach. But you're saying it's more. Would you say lifestyle or more like?
Then fitness is. It's just a word. Really, it puts it into a dogma where you can't really categorize what that means per se. So
okay, what does it mean to be fit then? And I know that definition can change for anybody, but
yeah, it's a loaded one there. How I break it down is there's elements to fitness.
Okay.
So you can also say elements to being athletic.
Right.
So I broke down 13 of them. I'll tell you a couple of them real quick. It's speed, agility, acceleration, strength, power. You have flexibility, you have accuracy of movement or accuracy of...
hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, hand-eye coordination. You have balance. There's many elements to fitness. So kind of what I attempt to do with my training or my practice is hitting all those elements and growing all those elements almost like a sphere. Like imagine a basketball and you're just blowing it up with air.
This is how I compare it to, right? So from that definition, it's like a video game, right? You have your different brackets, right?
Exactly.
Like an RPG or whatever, and then different aspects of those 13 are at different levels. Is that kind of how you see it?
Yeah, I compare a lot of things to a video game, honestly. We're born and
I think we had a conversation
generation,
about that,
that was our life. But and it's a life, like I said, it's a lifelong pursuit. And the way that I do it, if you go, let's say, hard into strength, you're going to lose flexibility.
Gotcha,
if you go hard into one field, you're going to lose. If you're too flexible, you may not have the pop and the power. We've had athletes like that where they were just way too damn flexible. Like, bro, you need a little bit of fast twitch in there because you're just too flexible. You're not going to be able to hurdle correctly if you don't have that snap down.
You think it's about balancing between those?
For me, that's how I go about it. Everybody can go about it in their own way, I guess. But I've gotten a lot of good benefits from that. What I take pride in is I'm not the best basketball player. I'm not the best soccer player. I'm not the best mixed martial art. What I try to do is
jack of all trades.
I'm a jack of all trades. If you take 10 people, just 10 average athletes of different sports, and then you toss me in that mix and we play each one of our sports, I'm going to do fucking pretty damn good in each one of those. If we average it out, if we do a point basis in that, I'm going to do pretty damn good in it because the way that I'm approaching this is I'm trying to adapt. If you give me a game like basketball, let's say I don't even know how to play basketball.
Adaptability
is huge because
now, from what I'm getting is you're describing athletic ability quite a bit. What about the nutrition side of things? Because a lot of people think you have to be, and I mean it makes sense to be fit in the nutrition side as well as the athletic side, or do they go hand in hand? If you've got one, you definitely...
Frank's be able to speak on this a little bit better, but from my view on it, nutrition is a huge part because literally it's corny as fuck, but we become what we eat. Particles, those elements,
there's all these
those
sayings,
things
you are
become
what you
us.
eat,
It's 100%
your body's
true,
a temple, like all that, and you kind of hear it, and you hear it often, which you kind of shut it off, but it's actually true.
Yeah, 100% true.
Do you know what the weird part about that is? We're around 25, 26, right? And then
I don't disclose my age.
Alright, so, but when we were younger, we can shove in anything in our mouth, like hamburgers, pizza, all that, and we would still be functioning. Like functioning.
Dick.
Yeah. Dick's already? Goddamn.
Not us.
Hot Cheetos.
But what I figured out, either we learned how our body, we're more aware of our bodies, meaning that what we put in, like if we eat clean diet, like vegetables, fruits, I don't know about you guys, but non-GMO meat.
Yeah.
But meat per se.
What they tell you to eat, right? What they tell you is healthy, right?
I feel that. Like, I feel it. If I eat shitty one day, I will feel like shit the next day.
Oh, dude, tell me about it.
Right? So,
and this is as an adult now.
As an adult, but when I was younger, it's so hard to gauge your body because I don't know what to look for. And then
eating a hamburger,
I can train super hard off of McDonald's and hot Cheetos. I'll be able to put a crazy workout in. Now, if I do that, I'm gonna throw my eyes out.
That's what we did back then, Even though we had the resources, because I went to school for kinesiology. It's the study of human anatomy and physiology and its movements.
Like movements.
Yeah. I also studied years and years of nutrition. Even though I learned all of that, it's still...
you can't be an expert at that. There's so much that we still don't know.
And it's stuff that I'm assuming changes too. Like there's more research.
It changes, and it's also, I believe, different for each person. Like
exactly.
Carbs may work big for somebody, but slow somebody else down. Or just same thing with drugs. Like weed could propel somebody to be more active, or
and I want to get into that eventually too, and later on. Nowadays with access to technology, you can go online and look up a million different things, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a million different things, so you don't know. And it
comes through trial and error.
Well, it comes down to trial and error, and everybody's body is different. So essentially, you try something out, see if it's working, see if not, see if parts of it is, and then you kind of adjust to that as you go on.
And it's crazy. The more you research it, you find out you don't know shit. Like we're in an ecosystem. I didn't know shit about probiotics and that we have bacteria waging war in our stomach, and we have to feed the healthy bacteria. Then there's just so many things like that we don't even know. Healthy skin font, like our flora of our skin has to be. There's so much to learn in that field. That's why I say it's a lifelong pursuit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think one of the reasons why people get confused what it is to be fit?
Why?
Because of the persona of what being fit is in the magazine.
Let's take it back then. So what's your definition? Because you talked about nutrition. You learned a lot from that. That's a lot of knowledge you have.
First, I want to talk about how everyone sees fitness.
It's like he's writing an essay. First.
Nice. Because all we see is buff, ripped dudes and blown out asses on girls.
Nice.
Which is nice, a blown out ass on a girl.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a natural person, non-steroid person, just to let you guys know, everyone that you see in magazines, fitness style magazine, takes some kind of steroids.
Take some, or they're just like a genetic freak.
Yeah, and that's very rare.
Yeah, low percentage.
Yeah, because
either way, I feel like models you see on the media, wherever,
especially
their job is to do that.
Yeah,
it's hard to be a regular Joe Schmo, have a 9 to 5, and have that physique. Now you can get close, you can strive for it.
I don't know. That's a little bit of an excuse as well, because you have to take priority. Like, okay, 9 to 5, you got to pay bills, you got to do this. But this is our body, this is our little flesh vehicle that our consciousness moves around in three-dimensional space.
With a 9 to 5. I'm just saying to have that. And to have
you're saying like if you're a pro athlete, that's what you do.
Yeah, that's your job. You get paid millions for that.
Yeah,
but that's what we see all around us, and to me, it's like, oh, I want to look like that.
Yeah. What is it called? The aesthetics of it?
Yeah. You want to look that way because, first, girls like it when you're buff and ripped. Second, you feel good because girls like it.
We don't judge.
Oh, yeah, we don't judge here.
Whatever you want to do.
But that's all it comes down to is like, what... People mostly go to the gym just to feel good. Look good, feel good.
You get those shots. Now we're talking about chemistry. You put in a good workout, you get dopamine just boom, flooding through your brain. And that's like the accomplishment.
Let me give you a perspective from like an average person, because I mean, I'm not as fit as you guys. You guys are next level. But I do, because I always thought it was bullshit. Like, you go work out, you go run. You know how they say you get runner's high, whatever? I always heard of that, but I never experienced it. lately since I've been going consistently, like you actually feel it. Like
your body's
a day
rewarding
that you
for
don't
the
go,
good
or
that
like
you're
if you haven't gone in a couple of days, you kind of feel like shit.
It's like
you
a
have
drug.
that bad meal, you feel
Yeah.
like shit, and it's
Yeah.
not that you know you're not doing something right. It's just your body's reacting like it's so used to doing things one way, and then you kind of stop or do the opposite, and it kind of tells you like, hey, no, you need to do.
People
this.
may criticize, but we are still the same vehicle as our caveman ancestors. Like we are still running off of that, even though everything has changed with industrialization and technology. Everything has changed. The game has changed. How we live, society, culture, everything has changed.
Yeah.
But we're still running off of the same reward systems. So we still get dopamine when we accomplish a goal, and it's simulating like you got that big kill. Boom, you get that serotonin when you feed it to the family.
There's still chemicals at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're a biological.
People forget that your brain is a lot of chemicals.
That
has a lot of. Well, no, people focus on like, oh, your brain's there for your thoughts, personality, feelings, things like that. But at the end of the day, it's chemicals reacting in your brain
off of things that you're doing.
Yeah,
in existence.
One of my pet peeves about fitness, the fitness guys, the buff guys, the strong guys, they joke, the jacked guys, they think they're fit. Fitness to me is feeling good about the way you are every single day. Meaning that you need to adhere to, like Romo said, the elements of fitness, right? Being fit is just not being the strongest. Being the most jacked.
Well, I like how you said adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability.
Adaptability is huge for me.
Yeah, because that's one thing. I'm like, dude, who gives a fuck if you're fucking deadlifting 500 pounds, but you can't run a mile?
You can't run up the stairs without
gassing.
Yeah, or like, okay, you can run fucking 100 miles, but you cannot fucking lift 200 pounds off the floor to save your life.
Let me dial this back a little bit.
On what he's saying though, that kind of brings it back to what you were saying about like we're still our caveman selves in a sense. When our ancestors were like that, they had to adapt to all situations. They had to hunt. They had to do this. So at any moment, they can switch from being a predator to a prey. You know what I'm saying? So I do like that definition of being adaptable to any situation. And, a big thing has to be with your athleticness. The more athletic you are, the more you can do that. And then it's going to go hand in hand with your nutrition. The better you take care of your body, the longer it's going to last.
The better your vehicle's going to last. I want to dial it back real quick to your initial question of like kind of why I got into it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't ask that yet.
You didn't ask that yet?
No.
I'm sure you did.
No, that was before we started.
Before the podcast.
So that's the thing too. So like I was saying earlier, before we started, you guys have been pretty fit since I've known you. Romo, you've been fit since I've known you. You've gotten more, obviously, as time has gone by. Frank, I knew you before you were fit. I saw the non-fit, the chubby Frank.
Oh, it's fat little fuck.
He used to skip a mile, which I thought was weird, but it worked.
My first ever mile was 14 minutes, guys.
Yeah, got a long way.
I think I ran like 8 something in 5th grade. But I was a little tweaker.
Anyway, so in terms of when did you get kind of deep into it where you realized it was more of a lifestyle thing, and when you realized that you wanted to work on certain aspects to become better, essentially?
It all goes back early childhood. My favorite thing over everything, over eating, over sleeping, over everything was playing.
Right.
Playing, and it's still my favorite fucking thing to do is playing, just simply playing. So initially through play, everything develops. And I still try to have that in my practice today.
Well,
I am playing. I am playing. That's how you form bonds. That's how you develop yourself. So I started out by just playing games. I'm the youngest out of 5. My closest sibling is my sister Lori. She's 5 years older. So a lot of the time I had to make games for myself. Like I was raised a little different than most people. I was raised in the middle of the fucking hood on an acre property, but we had 200 and something chickens. So one of my games was when my parents are inside, they're doing whatever they're doing, I go to the chicken cage and I let a hen loose. Yeah. And my game is I'm a cop and the chicken's a bad guy. I'm chasing the motherfucker down. And let me tell you what elements are in this. You have conditioning. because this motherfucker's running. I'm trying to get them tired so I can catch them. You have agility because this thing is fast, man. It's a dinosaur. You got a little mini dinosaur juking me, so I'm trying to chase this chicken around like Rocky style. And then you have reflexes where I get it a little bit tired. I get in a corner. Now I have to react to this living thing that has a mind of its own that's trying to get by me. It thinks I'm a predator. So it's this game of like predator versus prey, and that was one of the games. And then I got a little older and I got into soccer, just like every other Mexican, right? That, like I see my older brother doing it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let me get into it.
I don't even think that's a Mexican thing anymore. That's just kids in general.
True, yeah.
Go through that soccer phase.
But I got into that.
You're outside, you run.
I got into that first, and that's where I developed my foot-eye coordination. And then next was basketball when the Kings were popping here in Sacramento. That was a cultural thing, man.
Days.
I got huge into basketball. I was like, fuck soccer. I left soccer in the background. I was like, basketball is life. My hand-eye coordination got good from that. And from there, I just started, I had like, I guess you can say ADHD, where I just jumped from sport to sport. So from there, it's like, oh, football's dope as shit now. Let me go play football with my boys. And now I'm getting rougher where we're playing tackle. And now I started lifting weights. And then I'm like, man, let me get good at martial arts. Martial arts became like my life since I was a sophomore, even till like now. So I practiced that. And then in between there, I started getting the adaptability now where I'm like, can I adapt to tennis? Boom. Went to Georgia, learned how to play tennis a little bit. Bam, I got that game down, at least rudimentary. Volleyball, boom, new challenge. Let me get good at that. I would just constantly throw in these different challenges to see if I can adapt, overcome, then just conquer that shit, I guess. It's always been a game to me.
It's always been just
It's always been a game, and it's always been like challenge myself to the next level. It got easy catching that one hit. Let me fucking let them all loose and catch them just one right after another, and I'm chasing chickens for a full hour.
When we saw a chicken kick a dog, like
drop
kick. They're dinosaurs. People forget that fucking chickens is a dinosaur.
And then I have never seen
seen a T-Rex kick a dog either.
Yeah. Like chickens usually kick up, but that was a straight drop kick.
That was just like, I'm gonna jump, stay in the air for a second and bump.
Little dog went, I want to hear Frank's development story.
Okay.
Yeah,
start in the early years.
Because it seems like for you, it was mostly like, through your whole life, you just played and you just, there was a point where you just like,
took it to the next
try
level
different
constantly.
things here and there, and it's just all comes together essentially. I'm sure you have a lot of
as
things
my
you haven't
philosophy
tried out.
grows.
Because not only is the physical part growing, your mental part is growing too.
Constantly.
So the more knowledge you have, the more you know what to try out, the more you know what to work on, things like that.
There's always something to do.
But Frank, I know there was a time where you weren't like that.
Yeah.
So what's your story?
So we're going all the way back to the Philippines.
Damn.
So for everyone who doesn't know, I came here when I was 11. I was a fat, fobby little kid.
We're gonna build a wall for you.
Shit. Apparently, Trump is sending all the illegal Filipinos.
What? For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, fuck them.
Go on.
They're not gonna 10.
So my family is known for sports in my town. We play basketball, volleyball, baseball, right? So the way my town is structured is.
What's the name of your town?
My town is called Morong Rizal. It's 2 hours away from Manila.
I can say that.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Basketball was the number one sport in the Philippines. You guys know this, right? And then
I thought boxing, because of Manny.
that was way
first.
before. Yeah, basketball first. And Pacquiao loves basketball more than boxing.
Okay.
But he's too short to play basketball.
Yeah. The thing about basketball, it's a lot of your physical.
There's attributes to it that you need.
match.
Yeah. So my dad is one of the stars in my town. My uncle is one of the stars of town. My uncle went to college to play basketball.
Okay.
And almost made the Filipino team. Pepito?
Peter's my boy.
Yeah. All right. So your age group, you start with them playing basketball. You go up against other age groups within your own community, and there's many communities in the town, and you guys grow up right together, and you guys battle each other when you guys are younger.
So it's like gangs.
That's what I was thinking.
Right? And then eventually,
like the Warriors.
Yeah,
then, right?
eventually the best out of all those
movie.
communities are together, and then you battle each town. This is every summer, right? So all my uncles and my dad, everyone went through that cycle, right? So being fit is the utmost important on that, and plus my dad owns a pig farm. right? I came from a family of basketball players, volleyball players, all that, and farmers, and
Because your sisters played volleyball, right?
Yeah, they did both too. So with that, I was in charge when I was 8 or 9 years old of a whole pig farm. People who don't know, pigs will bite off your arm if they're hungry. They're vicious little fuckers.
Especially when you get like a lot together, right?
Yeah.
You guys deal with a lot of dangerous animals, chickens, pigs.
Yeah. So,
I have goats.
would you trust an 8-year-old feeding all those big ass pigs?
Not an American 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Filipino 8-year-old, yeah.
Yeah. So, but we raised little pigs, you know, and then my dad would tell me, catch that pig. I would catch that pig. You know how strong those fuckers are?
You're the deaf guy, you know?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I had to tackle him, and that's how my body was built. I have the strongest legs ever.
You got pretty strong legs.
Like my leg is probably like abnormally big.
And that goes into the adaptability.
Into needing to catch those pigs.
Yeah. It goes into the adaptability thing, just how mine was off of having to be nimble and catch chickens. Like I'm this little quick guy from that, and he had to fight pigs.
I need to be solid and strong at the point of attack, you know, because those pigs run up to you. Oh shit! I got dry a couple times. So I moved to Oakland, right? And then all of those, so all of those years of activity, then I moved to Oakland. A year and a half of not doing anything because I have no one to play with.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like,
a new environment.
Yeah.
New shit going on.
But eventually I realized the black people loves playing basketball. Guess what I'm okay at? Playing basketball. And then I got cool with them. But still, I was at that fat stage, you know? I didn't get to enjoy playing basketball because we had to move to Sacramento. I actually got cool with him the last 2 months I was there because I was too shy to talk to him, you know?
So you got cool through playing basketball?
Yeah.
With the hood homies?
Yeah, my hood homies protected me because I was a fobby little kid.
Yeah.
And then people tried to bully me. They were like,
he has a fob haircut.
Yeah. flat top.
Mm-hmm.
But all of my hood homies were like, nah, fam. Nah.
We got you.
We got you. I'm like, I thought he was only trying to be my friend for bullying me. I don't know what bullying was. so that's when I met you here. I was a fat little fuck, right?
Yeah.
Because it didn't help too that I had a taco truck right next to our apartment.
Nice.
$1 tacos.
Oh, I'd be fat too.
How the days have changed.
Right? So
they're $175 now?
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. It's horrible.
Yeah, so now there's a time when me and Ernesto, we were pretty big back then, right?
Yeah, well we met probably in middle school, right?
Yeah, 7th grade?
7th grade?
Yeah. So, Nikki, do you remember Nikki? From 7th grade?
Just
Indian Nikki? Indian?
Her!
Yeah, right? So,
now I remember.
they thought we were twins. I'm just darker.
Yeah. It's like, I like playing video games.
You were the Gordito brothers?
He catches pigs. Looking at
Yeah, right? The first ever time that I knew I was out of shape was running that mile.
Yeah.
I ran it in 14 minutes, dude. It was ridiculous, right? And then we went to high school, and then one day, my friends, I don't know who, Craig, Squeaks?
Yeah, I remember Craig.
Squeaks was like, hey, dude, are you playing football? I'm like, what the fuck is football?
Sure.
What the fuck is football? Yeah.
Foosball?
Yeah. He was like, just fucking show up. I'm like, yeah, I showed up, right?
That sounds like a Thomas.
Yeah. I just showed up playing football to one single practice in the afternoon. And then my very first practice, my God, I sucked because I didn't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what a 3-point
You weren't good at
is.
football on your first day?
Yeah, right. But this is how bad it was for me. People said, why the fuck am I out here? I suck. Why you even out here? Because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You can barely speak English. Why the fuck are you out here? And I'm like,
So regular high school.
yeah, you know?
Yeah.
And then in my head, I'm like, oh, you know what? Watch this. I'm going to prove. There's nothing else I like to do to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's just with that, with the summer of working out, going to a football camp, I'm the only freshman there that actually did work. My first ever play, I made a tackle against a varsity player. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to tackle. I just wrapped them up and dipped them. Best feeling of my life. Yeah. Right, so it all started with that by saying, fuck it, I'm going to play football. And I learned it's just that, just saying fuck it.
Yeah.
You know?
You got the discipline, you got...
Well,
learn how to weightlift. There's a lot
I've
of
known you for a
attributes.
long time, and I think at that time when you started playing football, not only did you, because I remember before that you were kind of like an angry little kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he just had a lot of, I don't know what was going on, but he just had a lot of just pent up anger.
Yeah.
I remember when you started playing football though, that kind of just you chilled the fuck out. You know how some kids in high school like they're weird and then they start smoking weed and then they're still weird, but they're
bearable now.
Yeah, they're a different kind of weird. Like they're not annoying weird.
Yeah.
That's what it was for you, but like with football.
Uh-huh.
And I think that just kind of like with that, I remember they wanted me to be kicker. I was like, I'll go check it out. And they were like running in the summer with pads. I'm like, nah, I'm good off that.
Part of that. Cool. That's where I met Frank. I think it was my sophomore going to my junior year in football. I had him in PE and we played like a little bit of basketball together, just like fucking around.
Yeah,
and shit.
dude, we couldn't be in the same team.
Yeah, well, since then, man.
Since then, we couldn't be in the same team.
And then we split you guys up.
Yeah, but yeah, that's where I learned Frank. And I remember my first day weightlifting. I was in his group, and it was like everybody was fucking way bigger than me. I never weightlifted in my life. I was used to playing sports and
that's what I was gonna
catching
get to.
chickens and
So
shit.
like when you started, like it seems like you focus more on strength or things that got you better at your position.
That was just one of the qualities that he developed young through the pig thing. So it was like you have that thing as a big quality. My quality was like I had conditioning and
like
we had different attributes.
Essentially, right?
That was one of the whole reasons why I got. I fell in love with weight training because I was really good at it.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah, right away. That's what I pursued. Weightlifting, Olympic lifting, all that, because I was good at it. But now I realized what I hate doing: conditioning.
And that's the shit you got.
Climbing.
That's the adaptability
swimming.
thing. You have to do the shit that you hate because you hate it because you're not good at it normally. So you have to dive into that shit.
To do it.
That's one thing that I embrace is I go into the shit that I don't like and I find a way to enjoy it. In a way, I like it in kind of like a sick way. I'm like, man, I suck at this. I want to get good at this. I'm having so much trouble with this fucking thing, and then I conquer it.
That brings another aspect to the definition, I think, because we said adaptability is big, right? But your mentality has to be there too.
Oh, your mentality is
like you have to be mentally strong to become fit or to be fit in general.
Yeah. Do you know what's the weird part? Even like when you suck at something, it's gonna take so much longer to see improvement.
Yes,
like
stage
running.
One of learning.
Oh my god, running is so painful. Like after you've done a mile, you're like, oh god, like do I have one more in me? And you just keep going.
And running has always came easy for me. What was tough on me, like going back to like my first day of weight training. Yeah. I was in Frank's group. I did okay on like the pressing exercises. I just kept it kind of light. I'm like, okay, I'm used to helping my dad build shit, so like I can press. Then they're like, come put this on your back and squat. It was only a plate, and I'm like, oh! I fall down with the weight. Yeah. Frank comes by and like picks it up like nothing. He's like, oh, it's all good, bro. Just go a little lighter. So they're all hitting like a plate or more, and then I'm over here taking it off and putting 25s on. I feel like a little bitch. Then we go outside. My back hurts.
That's what I'm saying. You have to have the mentality to be like, okay, I know where I'm at. I know where I gotta start, and then take it. And you gotta take it where I'm not doing as much as them. Like that's tough mentally,
especially in that age.
Oh yeah, it's really competitive around that age.
See, that's one thing that we go into because we've been coaching for 4 years in the Tomes, right?
This is our fifth
football,
year,
track, mostly
soccer,
mostly strength and conditioning, almost for the whole school programs, right?
Right.
So
our athletes are in every sport.
So the things we learned during that time, like you got to get You're
talking about in our developmental years?
Yeah. What we learned from that is what we applied here. So meaning, first thing we learned. Never ever lift weights that you can't do. Let your ego go out of the way. And the people,
PVC pipes.
Yeah, and the people around you never ever be negative because we experienced that in the weight room.
Yeah.
What the fuck, you bitch? Yeah, and see those are the
that's
things.
how kids are, and like you guys experienced it when you were kids, so it's a good way of saying like, okay, we don't want none of that shit because we know it's not gonna help anybody.
Yeah.
So let's fucking get rid of it.
It's the way. What we did is like encourage them. Like, dude. The way you're gonna get better is doing more than last week.
Yeah.
Or like yesterday.
It's like you're against yourself at this point. Don't compare yourself to other people.
Because we experienced that during football.
Yeah.
Right?
One thing that was huge for me with football is, you start to build your little family. Like, I became real close with Frank because he's right there sweating next to me. We're right there fucking in pain. Like, all the homies that we got from that, I can see them at any point now. It's like, we're still part of, like, the brotherhood and whatnot. But you go through these experiences, like, there's these, I don't know what chemicals are getting released, but we're hitting weights, and out of nowhere, people start clapping, like, and the whole weight room starts clapping, right? And there's an echo to it, and they're like, who's else? And you just get all fucking hyped and just makes you hit more weights. Like, there's just some, like, barbaric, warlike feeling to it that I was attracted to big time. Like,
fuck shit
I
up.
fucking loved it. So much that, like, I never missed a day. I missed one day, had to do, like, 1,000 burpees for it and shit. Because he held us at, like, a higher standard, coach. Coach did. Football. Yeah. But there was something there was, like, something to that, like, conquering these things and suffering to get better. We were team captains at, like, when I was a sophomore going into junior year. And then here's the fucking thing. I never even played a down of football. Maybe, thank God, I saved some brain cells and shit. Because our team was only, like, 16 deep. But, like, I went through all the training of, like, damn near 2 years. So, like, I did the whole, since springtime all the way into the summer of the next year when we're about to play. And then that's when I, like, had to leave to get a job. And, you know, tough titty said the kitty shit was tough, but like what I learned just in the training time of football has stuck with me forever.
Yeah,
like the things that I learned there.
Maybe didn't get to apply it then, but I'm sure you apply it all the time.
Yeah, and then it also, when you're at that stage, even now, you have like, oh man, I was not confident in who I was, but doing those things, and then like one time we were in PE, and this was after I got out of football, and I just take my shirt off and just having like the people around me like, damn nigga, you buff, Romo, and I didn't think in my head that I was buff or ripped I was like, huh? And then I went to the doctor because I had to get something. My shoulder was injured. They had to check my shoulder, and even the doctor's like, oh, you have muscle. She was little Asian lady. Your son is. My mom was there. She's like, your son is very strong. And I finally like, oh man, I got a little bit of confidence in myself from going through that hell.
And then speaking of coaches being a positive influence on us, remember Coach A?
Oh man, Coach A. He's a
R.I.P.
legend. Coach A. Let me tell you a funny story. So many stories just flood to my head when that name comes up. Coach A was the coach that he showed up every single day. He always had like the best attitude, and he wasn't afraid to put you in your place. Like if you're acting like a little bitch, if you're acting some kind of way, he's gonna put you in your place. I was the skinniest little homie on the team when I first started, right? He would call me Big Romo. I'm over there only picking up like 25 pounds, and everyone else is doing like 1 something or above 200 pounds, and he's like, let's go Big Romo, let's go Big Romo. He's hyping me up. I'm like, yeah. But having someone like that, that shit touched me big time. Those
sure
memories.
That's you pick up like when you train.
When I became a coach, I went off the memories of like what Coach A did for me. What I get a little choked up, man. But Coach A, Coach Melvin, what they showed me, I put it into my own cup, right? And I ran it through my filter, and I did it my way. But it was the lessons that they showed me, like for instance, when you're working with kids. Let's say there's a kid who's seeking attention through being bad, right? If you give them the attention by saying, hey, like, stop being bad, like you scold the kid, that's what they want, even if it's like almost a negative thing, right? Because you're scolding them, they want attention. So what I did instead was, I was like, the kid next to him's doing it the right way, and he's a quiet kid. I come and I give him praise right next to the other kid. I ignore the other kid who's acting bad. I just keep giving the kids around him praise, and that shit changes their mindsets. It changes little things in them. So like these lessons are huge, man. Like they're gonna listen to their coach more than their teacher, more than their principal, more than their fucking mom. So that's another scary thing is you have huge influence in these kids' lives. Like it's scary because like what if I'm doing it wrong? You know, that's like where parenting comes in.
You get like a lot of responsibility all of a sudden.
Yeah, but also one of the most beautiful things is he posted something just the other day. Right?
I was gonna tell you about
us. When we first started, like we looked like little ass kids, even though
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was only like 4 or 5 years ago. But kids commenting like, "You guys were the best coaches," and I get that all the fucking time, like from every kid that I've worked with, damn near, like, "Oh man," and it was just because we were always there and we cared. We may not be the best at what we do, but we tried hard as fuck. We actually cared. We bought them food, even though I didn't have that much money. We gave them clothes. Like we gave them rides home. We gave them talks, and we just showed them love.
Most importantly, this is what a lot of kids told me. You guys do the workout with us. You guys lead by example.
Good point.
Because we're fit enough to do it, and the coaches who coached us did some. And when they're doing it, the workouts with us when we were kids, we're like, oh yeah, if coach can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, he's doing it right there with us.
It goes back to like relatability. Like that's important in everything.
Yeah.
I know when we were talking about comedy last time, that's a big thing you have to do. Like all your jokes, you got to be relatable to people.
Yeah, if we're that fat coach that's telling them to do something, they're not going to respect that as much as if we're right there sweating with them. Yeah. Maybe they're, you know, a lot of the time we're of course going to be better. We're full-grown adults. We're going to be better. But when a kid beats you in something, dude, that's like the greatest joy ever. It's like the whole student beating master, and that puts them on another level. Or if they just know they're close to you and shit,
it gives them something to strive for.
What we always did was we had the most success when we were doing the workouts with them. Like we would get lazy eventually because it's like, fuck, man, it's 100-something degrees. I don't want to run this gasser with them. But when we would hop in, everybody's energy would lift up. So
sacrifice, you know.
we were like Alexander the Great over someone else. We're like Genghis Khan. We led from the front. We didn't bark orders from the back. I'm right there sweating next to you. I've thrown up, and like one of my kids is like throwing up right there too because we just did some tough ass workout.
And that is one of the whole reasons why I think we keep in shape too, because
it's our credibility since we're so young.
Because before we even put up give them a workout, we do them first. Because one thing about the workouts a lot of coaches give to their kids, to their athletes.
Sometimes it's too much.
Sometimes
it's not enough. So we can gauge it off us doing it.
Yeah. So what we learned how to build an athlete is what we learned through ourselves. It's like what worked with our so like, okay, I am a power strength athlete, right? Yeah. And he is an endurance technique explosive athlete, right? We combine them, and then we make adjustments later for each individual case. You know, this is why I think fitness is a combination of all.
Well, that's the thing too. I feel like you guys are aware because a lot of coaches, they're known to do the same old thing just because that's what they're used to. Yeah. That's their thing, and it works for them, right? Mm-hmm. But you guys realize that everybody's different, and you have backgrounds on different things.
Yeah.
So you can see a kid, you can see a team, and be like, okay, this person needs to do this, this person needs to do that.
You can see a kid, and you'll be like, oh, in 2-3 years, he's gonna be here if he does this. So we would never cookie cut. Like we would never try to put everybody into the same mold.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't work. I know we weren't coaching for super long, but I'm super proud of the accomplishments that we did in our time. We took the Natomas team when they only had like 14, 15 kids. They hadn't won in 4 motherfucking years. Yeah. They had the longest losing streak in California. People can say whatever the fuck they want. Oh man, you went down a division.
We went down to Capital Christian.
Yeah, we went to a tough division. But we had to go in there. We had to change the mentality because they were cool with losing. They're like, oh, you know, it's a normal thing. We're known for losing. Yeah. People would talk so much shit. Other kids are like, why'd you take this job? But you guys fucking suck at dick. You're getting that every single day, and you're just grinding because you see the vision. You see what you could become, right? We endure all these challenges. The following year, we make it to the playoffs. So from not winning in 4 years to making it to the motherfucking playoffs. There's only 3 teams in Natomas high school football history that has ever made it. We were one of those fucking 3 teams that made it. And it was just, we never stopped. Since we got there was no off season. We continued. And we would do things like, I took a bunch of kids, Frank and I, and we paid from our own pocket to take them to gymnastics lessons. Yeah. We paid for it. Some of our better athletes that stuck with us year round, we were doing this in the winter, to make them more athletic, to make them balanced, to make them aware of their own body. The following year, those kids fucking killed it. Just things like that, we just never stopped. So year 1, we didn't win a game. We had to change. We won 1 on JV, but we had to change the mentality. Yeah. That was number 1. Year 2, we make it to playoffs. Year 3, this is a very political year for us. Other coaches came in and seen the success of year 2, but they weren't there for year 1. So they're like, "Oh, we did that. You weren't there for year 1 during the struggles, during the having to change the mind of the culture."
Me battle Jesse. You
kind of Bishop. But year 2 was like our success. We worked so fucking hard and slaved year 1. Year 2 was some success. Year 3 was political as fuck.
Yeah.
They thought they did it all, and we were trying not to be egotistical.
That ego check was, man.
It was a major hit. Like I had to just put ego to the side, and what we ended up doing was we said, all right, there was a lot of infighting. They were trying to take away the strength and conditioning program from us, at least at the varsity level. So what we did was like, okay, we're focused on JV. We had the best record a Natomas team has ever had.
History.
We went 8 wins, 2 losses, and the 2 losses were
like
against very tough teams, and it was like razor thin, like just
4 and 8 points.
one little mistake, and that could have, put us over. So year 3 for us, the political year, we just stayed in our lane and we showed it through that team. Year 4, that's when like shit wasn't changing, and I had to bounce. I had to leave. So like I traveled for a while, cleared my mind of things, and when you're traveling, you have a lot of time to think and like readjust your life.
Self-reflect.
Yeah. So during year 4, I had to just refine myself, and then coming back this next year,
We did track.
Well, I'm sure there's different batches of kids too. So
yeah, a lot of our athletes are still there,
Yeah.
and this football team that's going on right now, like we kind of developed the best players that are playing right now.
We did develop them.
We've developed the best ones that they have, and they're winning right now a little bit. But I don't want to like pat ourselves on the back too much. But it was the kids. It was the fucking
They
kids
tell us.
that we developed, and they have told us and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy thing.
So Pando, this is a question for you.
All right, here we
All
go.
right.
Throw it at me.
So you've been in this fitness thing for about what? 2 years now? 2 years? Right?
Just about. I want to say I started probably beginning of last year.
Yeah, right. So what made you want to get fit all of a sudden?
It's one of those things where it's like you gotta be self-aware at a certain point, right? And I always knew I can get there. I just never did. Whether you make up reasons, you make up excuses, whatever.
Yeah.
But I realized I was like, all right, if I still want it to be somewhat manageable, somewhat easy, I need to start now. Like at fucking, what was I, 24 at the time, 25?
Can I be a little bit honest with you, brother?
What?
I felt until you started getting back into fitness, I felt like you were almost in a little depression. Like I know it's kind of going in deep, but we weren't even hanging out that much. Like you seemed like a slightly different. I don't know what it was, but we went through a period where we weren't hanging out that much. But once you started like getting back into the fitness thing, I don't know if it was like a confidence boosting, if it was, I don't know what it was, but you came out of like a little funk that I felt you were in.
It's more of
what's
like,
your perspective?
It's more of like, because I get how you can see that, but it's more like when you're not doing anything, at least not productive or working out or whatever, you kind of find things to do on your own, right? I feel like when I actually work out, when I'm active, when I do things, you have to branch out, whether it be with people, whether it be...
You have to go outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing, too. Like, once you realize you have to go outside of your comfort zone to grow, that's important. And I think during that time, that's when I realized that, like, that's the only way to grow, whether it be physically, mentally, just
So you're
any
saying
way.
you went through like an introvert period? You're like isolated?
Not necessarily. I was just comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
And
killer
when
of
you're
us all,
comfortable,
man.
you're just like, fuck it, whatever. But once I realized that comfortability wasn't getting me anywhere, because you always have to...
You go through periods like that.
I feel like people in the 20s or 24, 25, you go through that, what they call a quarter-life crisis.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I necessarily had that, but I did become aware, like, okay, I'm at this
What am
stage
I
in my
doing
life.
with my-
It's like, I'm at this stage in my life, what do I have to do? And it's like, at that point, I was like, fuck it, let me start working out, let me start doing this, let me start doing that. And I was at a point where I was nearing 280. I never got to 300. Yeah, I was pretty big. And it's like...
And how tall are you?
Huh?
How tall are you?
5'8".
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I know, it's pretty bad. Because I looked all that up, like, 5'8", 280, like, I gotta fucking get my shit together. Because I think it's like where you're at a tipping point. Like, if you go over that bar, it's a problem.
It's gonna
but
be
I still
hard.
have that time frame where I could go down.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, let me go down. And it's like, I mean, I started same as everybody. You go to the gym, do what they tell you, you run, do things like that. But it's like, the more you do, the more you learn. And it's like you guys were saying, it's all trial and error. So you try something, it works, you keep doing it. It doesn't work, you do something else. you know that something's working and then it stops working, so you have to try something else. So it's like it's trial and error,
Yeah.
and it's at a point where like you get to a point where, because I was telling you this earlier, people always tell you like, oh, you work out, you get a lot of energy, you get this, you get that, and when you become someone that starts doing that from not like moving and stuff like that, you don't get that. You don't get that instantly. It takes a while for you to get that.
Yeah.
And until I got that, I was like, okay, this is actually working.
It's fun.
Yeah, well, it's not that it's fun. It's like this. I'm getting
Feels
somewhere.
good.
You feel good. You get results, and things start changing. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing that for a while. I take breaks here and there because I feel like
You need a rest every now and then.
not necessarily rest, but it's a lot mentally too. Like kind of being what's it called? Disciplined enough to be doing that either every single day or
Yeah. I got you, because when I tried, I think fitness is a lifestyle, man. Because if you incorporate fitness in your life, you might not work out every single day, but you put in at least 4 or 5 sessions, and it doesn't have to be weightlifting, guys. It doesn't. You don't have to lift weights.
Agility. Do some
Look,
yoga.
guys, excess muscle mass, it affects your body as excess fat mass, meaning your body will get stressed no matter what it is, excess weight. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Right? It affects it no matter what. Right? So it doesn't mean that you're buff as fuck, that you're healthy. It doesn't mean that you're not healthy too. It's just, let's be careful on what we say what fit is.
Well, that's why
Right?
I wanted to start with definition, because
Yeah.
the way you define, because I'm sure everybody has their own definition on what to be healthy is. I think we kind of nailed it down to pretty good things. Where being adaptability, being mentally strong, just different factors influence how fit you are.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess fitness can be like how useful you are. Like I tell this story a lot because I researched this fairly recently. There was a French Navy captain, and he was stationed somewhere in Africa. I don't know what island it was. It was out there, and the volcano on that island erupted.
Right.
So there's mass chaos. There's people dying. He hops on a boat. He heads towards the island, and he sees people dying off of because they couldn't attempt simple movements like, let's say, there's a kid crying because the fucking volcano just erupted and there's fucking fireballs flying and hitting the ground and there's lava coming at them. They couldn't pick the kid up. Kid's an awkward object, right? They couldn't pick up the kid and run with them efficiently because the kid's going crazy and whatnot. Boom, they die. Lava hits them. Someone else couldn't climb over a 5-foot fence. Boom, lava kills them. They couldn't climb a rope to evade the lava. Simple little things. Boom, lava killed them. They couldn't swim out further enough. They couldn't swim out further enough into the ocean. Bam, lava hit them. So he's seen like, damn, these people are not useful. They can't do simple movements that would save their lives, that are just useful movements, picking something up off the ground, hopping high enough, climbing. So that has to be taken into consideration as well, is like, what can you do with your biological vessel? What can you do with what you have? I'm proud that I can do quite a bit, and I'm just constantly growing. I know I'm going to hit a certain age where you start to diminish. We're not coming out of this thing alive.
Stem cells and testosterone, man.
That's kind of
perhaps
that goes back into why I kind of started getting my shit together. Cause like when you're young, you can eat whatever the fuck you want, and like you're good to go. Once you hit a certain age, it's like you feel every single thing you eat.
You drink
like,
just 2 beers, the next day you're like, oh.
We go play basketball usually every week, every Saturday, whatever. I remember back in the day, I would play that as heavy as I was. I would go play whatever, and I'd still be fine.
Yeah.
Now we go play and like we have an intense game. I'm like, oh man, I gotta relax for a little bit, you know.
I like having that basketball game at the end of the week to look forward to, because that's play. When I'm in the game of basketball, when we're playing, I ain't thinking about anything else.
Yeah, you're just thinking about playing.
Another reason why I love, I guess you can call fitness or just moving in general, being active, being an athlete, being a player, is it's meditation.
Yeah.
Dude. It's fucking meditation.
People
Believe it or
forget
not,
about
it's
that.
meditation. We're in the moment.
I like that you bring that up, because a lot of people like think meditation is just like fucking sitting cross-legged. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's, especially nowadays, we've been trained to kind of divert ourselves, whether it be on our phones, whether it be watching TV, whatever it may be, we're never alone with our own thoughts, right? So
or even absent of thoughts.
Yeah.
Because when I'm playing, I'm not really thinking. It's all reaction.
Yeah.
We're in like a primal state. We're like little monkeys just fucking playing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like now more than ever, we need to have that time where it's just ourselves with our thoughts, or just without any thought. Like people go take a dump and they're on their phones. Like they're always connected to something.
What's the Japanese word for it? It's Wu Wei.
Yeah, Wu. So
is that a phone company?
No. So about moving meditation, the Shaolin monks do it. They focus meditation through moving the body. It's
like Tai Chi type movements,
Tai Chi or
movements.
working out, like just moving meditation, and that's what working out is, pretty much, right? And then, guys, quit being worried about fucking the way you look, right? The way you look, because what you do.
A resident pastor.
Yeah. So what activities you do, it will show on your body. If you like to swim, if you like to bike, if you like to lift weights, if you like to climb, and if you do all these things within a certain amount of time, it will show in your body.
It goes back to the adaptive response. It takes a while to adapt to something, but being just adaptable, period, in quotes, adaptable.
Like a lot of people want shortcuts. They want shortcuts to be fit, to be.
There's no fucking shortcuts, dude. There's no fucking shortcuts.
Well, there's shortcuts, but there can be like long-term effects or whatever.
If you're talking about steroids, there's no shortcuts in steroids either. You still gotta lift, or you still gotta do that.
Yeah, but it's easier than without.
I don't think that you know that I took testosterone, right? I have a friend that is a pro bodybuilder.
Okay.
Right. He competes a level under Mr. Olympia. Right. So I was always that guy who's been like, oh, I want to get the most jacked. You know, I don't know why. For some reason, I just want to get jacked, huge, strong. Right. So I tested it out. Right. God damn, that shit works.
Yes.
I got so much stronger, bigger, but I had to put the effort in. Like I had to work out twice a day.
Yeah.
The way testosterone work is it doesn't make your muscles bigger. Instantly you have to work. It makes you recover faster.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you work out one hard workout a day, right? You're sore. You can't do anymore. But with testosterone, you can work out twice, maybe 3 times a day hard, and you're not going to be sore the next day.
Gotcha.
You can do that again.
So it just helps you work out more.
Yeah.
It helps you strain your muscles so they can grow more.
But the drawbacks, this is what happened. Like Romo said, I focused on my weightlifting so much that my flexibility went away. My explosiveness went away. Meaning like I was focusing on my power lifts. I might have been strong. I might have been gaining muscle mass. I might have been, getting my muscles bigger, but my ligaments and tendons were getting bigger.
I wanted to bring that in because you're putting so much strain now on your skeletal system and on your ligaments that they can't keep up.
Your
ligaments take your whole life to really develop.
So, by week 8 of taking it, I got injured. My muscles were getting so big. I was getting so strong that my ligaments weren't used to it, and I injured my shoulder. Right after then and there, I said, my shoulder isn't what it used to be. I had to get surgery on it because it's the same shoulder that I've been using to play football. It's my major shoulder for contact. So my posture must have been shifted a little bit to receive more weight there, right? So ever since that day, I dabbled in that performing enhancing drugs. It works. I mean, if that's your job to perform or look a certain way, who are we to say stop?
Yeah, as long as you go about it intelligently, I guess. I never fucked with it because I never really wanted the aesthetic look of it. I get the aesthetic look, like I said, through adapting to all the different shit I do. I don't really do bodybuilder workouts or anything like that, but I have a good physique off of just changing it up constantly. You're working all the different muscles, and in isolation, you're putting it only to isolating it. You're only putting it to one thing. Me, I like connecting the whole body, so I'm doing movements and training that is incorporating everything. It's incorporating being a better mover. There's all these trends in fitness. Like we went into CrossFit, we went into martial arts. I still do martial arts. We went into powerlifting, everything, right?
Yeah. And then
moving is key, though. Just how good of a mover you are. At the end of the day, it boils down into I'm doing this to make my existence better.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of things with my body. Sex is better. Just walking down the street, breathing is better. Something happens, I know I can react to it. There's a fucking volcano. I know, if I'm not too close to it.
Can't do the rope thing, guys. I'm out.
So it enhances my life.
Yeah.
And it's an addicting thing. I love it, man. The dopamine shots are great. It's a beautiful thing. So I do it, A, because I love to play.
Yeah.
B, because it makes my life experience better.
To wrap things up, I'm gonna ask you both of you guys the same question. I might answer it too, but I don't really think I have too much input. But what would you tell someone that maybe they don't do anything right now, they're not really interested in fitness, but they've been looking on it, and just something in general that you can tell them how to start in a way?
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, there's so much information out there. Like you see something, 6-pack abs in 10 minutes, like whatever. And like you see that, obviously it doesn't fucking work.
So what would you tell someone who's coming into it or wants to start?
For me, it's
to get fit. That's
mostly,
the question.
Yeah. For me, it's mostly mental. First of all,
Yeah.
if you aren't okay with messing up and fucking knowing that you're gonna be fucking tired and sore and whatever, and like you're gonna mess up on different aspects, then you're not gonna get anywhere. That's the main thing. Like you gotta acknowledge that you're gonna fuck up, and once you get that, it's harder than it sounds. You can say it, and then actually doing it is a different story. But the faster you acknowledge that if you fuck up, that's the only way you're gonna get better, the better, in my opinion.
What I would tell somebody is mentality is really all of it. It has to become part of your existence. It has to be part of life. You have to enjoy it. Like I say, I always relate it back to play because I enjoy that. That is like the funnest thing for me to do in life is to play. I'd never lost that child in me. So I see training, I see all this as play. So I'm not going to get bored of it. I'm not going to outgrow fitness because it's playing for me. So that's my advice: is find a way to make it fun,
like,
enjoy it,
something that
explore,
you like doing something fun. Because people, I'll tell you this thing. People always say, "Okay, I'm gonna join the gym tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go run on the treadmill, maybe lift a couple weights here and there, dumbbells, and then I'm just gonna do that for like a couple weeks and be good." And that's not how you fucking do shit.
Nah.
You know,
Yeah.
it might work for a couple people, but in general, that's not the way.
Go join a club. Go join a soccer team. Go join something that's gonna other people may keep you
Even
accountable.
fucking, like,
or just
Zumba,
find something.
spin class,
something that start moving.
Something that's
Mexico
like social.
Zumba.
Yeah, it's a lot of assets. Go try new things.
Yeah.
Go experience what this life has to offer, and then they'll be like, "Oh, why are you doing all these different things?" Because I fucking
Well,
can.
that's another thing too. You
Because I
can't
can.
really care about don't do it for other people.
No, hell
you gotta do it
no.
for yourself.
Yeah.
Once you start involving other people, it's like, well, at that
If you're
point-
gonna involve other people, do it for them to keep you accountable. Like Frank and I have been long training partners since high school, and we may diverge. Like he'll go his way and I go my way, but we learn different things, and then we'll connect and like start training again, or when we start coaching again, we'll exchange ideas and whatnot. So get people who can hold you accountable. That's always big. That helps out a lot. So for instance, we have our little ceremonial basketball game at the end of the week, and we hold each other to that. Like, you gonna go, bro?
Oh, you're not going? You're reaching out? Oh, what? Oh, what?
You're Fire Academy, man.
You gotta save people's lives? Oh, fucking pussy.
One advice I would give someone is take your time starting.
Okay, that's good.
And like, because you can't go ham, fucking go hard for 2 weeks straight.
Like you were mentioning, like people go for that aesthetic.
Yeah.
They don't get that in like a month. They're like, all right, I'm out. Like, fuck this
Like
shit.
they
It's
want-
like, well, it's gonna take me long.
The adaptive response takes time, my friend.
So if you're a sedentary person, go do something you like once a week in the beginning, maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
And just work on that. Eventually you get used to it. Maybe you're going 3 times a week, and then change your diet. Like, take it in steps. Don't
Baby
change
steps.
it all at at once because it's gonna shock your system like none other.
Then even saying diet, people think of like, oh, I'm gonna do the Atkins diet. No, it's just we all are on a diet.
People are
you make changes to your personal
but
diet.
Everybody's on their own diet. Like
exactly.
that's the way you normally eat is what a diet is.
Yeah.
When you change your diet, it's like, well, now I'm normally gonna eat something else. You understand?
And diet is just like we said before. That's a big one. That's too much to just become a professional on. I'm still constantly learning on it. I'm still a noob when it comes to diet.
Yeah, just change little bit by little bit. I know people are gonna go off track off of working out and the way
that's
you're
another
eating.
thing too. Like shit happens in life. Like you might miss a day, you might miss a couple, you might get injured, you can't. You miss a couple of weeks.
Even with injuries,
just being aware that you can go back and you can still do certain things.
It's a fork in the road.
You injure your shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. You have the rest of your body.
Yes, I was gonna say that. You work around your injury. Okay, my shoulder hurts. I can still run. I can still go on a bike. I can still do many things.
Dude, I had a cast on my shoulder, like a cast. I was running with that, and you know how stinky my cast was. That shit stunk. But going back to the advice,
well, and tell people to bathe because
take a shower, dude. Come on.
Be a French
you know that smell where like some
must.
Well, it's a little bit more than musty because
Bigfoot's dick.
It's like it's a piece of clothing that at one point was wet, and it's no longer wet, but it is wet.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And
moldy,
it smells
musty.
like
pee.
Get rid of those
People be
shirts.
at the gym with that. It's like just throw that shit away, dude.
Don't ever wear pure cotton in the gym.
Yeah.
I've had shirts that just doesn't matter what you do to it, they just reek. You just gotta get rid of them after a while, man. You can't keep reusing the same condom, you know? Toss that bitch.
People
I know it's a cool shirt.
Things like, oh, that's my favorite workout shirt. It's like, well, it was your favorite.
Bro, it stings.
Polyester, guys. Polyester.
Alright, want to close it up? I gotta take a poo.
Alright, well, let's, I don't know, let's do some closing.
Some plug-in?
Yeah, some plug-in.
Alright. Keep your eyes and ears open for...
Well, first of all, comment, like, subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube and listening to this, just click subscribe, comment if you have any feedback. And then I also have it on Podmatic. Yeah, exactly. I also have it on Podmatic. Mm-hmm. People are saying you can't subscribe on iTunes through it. You got to be on a computer or you have to request a desktop site. You can't do it on a phone or a tablet or whatever. So it has to be on a computer if you want to subscribe to iTunes.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
And then plug Instagram, whatever you have.
You can go to the InFinite... Was it _?
InFinite_AM for both Instagram. We're not on Twitter actively just yet, but we're getting there.
And then for mine, Jose Romo 1000, I got all my little cool videos.
Do you have a
different workouts?
What's your fitness one?
That's just I keep it all in the same thing. I just post shit that I enjoy doing, like traveling. And
Do you have anything that you just post like fitness stuff?
What's the YouTube that we're getting it started?
YouTube or
OmniX.
Instagram?
OmniX.
It's a YouTube.
Okay, so
OmniX. We just kind of
so
throw
on YouTube. What do you have?
It's OmniX.
So
and we just toss our funny videos on there, honestly.
Okay, and then on Instagram you have
Jose Romo 1000.
Okay, and then Frankie?
Just Frankie 4Ys 7.
4Ys.
4Ys. 10 G.
And then I just got sponsored by Raw Art Apparel. That's coming out soon.
There you go.
Getting the shit started. So yeah.
What do you guys have on there?
Clothing, artwork. We'll be explaining that one more.
Available soon.
Very soon.
Website near you.
Some cool pictures are going to be coming up soon.
Yep.
Dope art. We'll talk about that one in a different podcast.
Bam.
All right.